Okay, hi everybody, we're on 92A, and I just got, 1 second. Okay. Good. Just a few lines down from the top. It says, V'chen amad Rava, lo shanu ela bekupa mele'a kishu'in udlu'in, ava mele'a chardal hayav.
You're showing the wrong screen. We're looking at your Zoom.
Okay.
No.
Oh, I see. Okay. Lo shanu ela bekupa mele'a kishu'in udlu'in, ava mele'a chardal hayav. All right. We saw yesterday that there was there were two opinions about if you're carrying a basket full of fruit and you're carrying it from the Reshut HaYachid to the Reshut HaRabim, what exactly are you carrying? Do you consider the fruits themselves or the basket as a whole? And so we saw Rabbi Yochanan says you look at the entire thing as one. Right, an example of a bus going a great adventure. It's when the last row of the bus, when the tailpipe of the bus enters, that's when it enters. It's all one thing. Whereas according to Chizkiah, it's each part by itself, every fruit. So in the example of the bus, it's the driver gets there first, and then the first row, and then the second row. We consider each part by part. So that was machloket by the early Amoraim, but this machloket is paralleled and continues in the fourth generation of Amoraim between Rava and Abaye. And so Rava, regarding our Mishnah, which is talking about taking a basket out to the Reshut HaRabim, and he says it only applies cucumbers and gourds that are long and go from end to end of the basket. Then the entire thing has to go outside. But if it was full of mustard seed, then you'll be chayab because some of the mustard seed is in the front of the basket and already left. So see, according to Rava, he does part by part. That's like Chizkiah. We don't consider the binding of the utensil as a binding. He says even if it's mustard seed is very small and half in and half out, the basket's half in, half out, patur, even though you actually transferred some mustard seed totally out, but it's in the basket, and the basket is considered a binding. Okay, very good. So they're continuing the same mahloket. There's an interesting phrase. It says, turns out that as they were arguing about it, they ended up switching positions. And so what we just said about Rava and Abaye, just switch them around. Okay, now we happen to have now also a contradiction between Rava's new opinion, now that he switched, and something else he said, and Abaye's new opinion that he said, and something else. So actually it turns out if we didn't switch them, then we wouldn't have a question. But we have a tradition that they did switch opinions, and so now we have a question on each of them. And here are the questions on each of them. This first, Hamosi perot l'shut harabim, Abaye amar beyad hayav, bakeli patur. If I'm inside my house and I take something out with my hand, I'm still standing inside the house, and I just stretch my hand out of the window or out of the door. So if it's with my hand, that would be hayav. If it's in a basket, patur. That's what Abaye said. Rava says bayad patur, bakeli hayav. He says the other way around. If I'm still standing inside, I stretch it out. It's okay, patur. In the basket, hayav. So this is the opposite. Epoch beyad hayav v'hatenan pashat balabayit et yado lachus v'natal ha'ani metocha or shenaten letocha v'chnish shenehen peturin. Hold it. This whole thing goes against the Mishnah all the way, the very, very first Mishnah in Masechet Shabbat that says talking about Balabait who's outside, and he puts his hand, a Balabait, where he's the owner of the house, and he sticks his hand outside, and the poor person takes from it, or the other way around, Patur, because they each did only half of the action. And so over here, how could you say, in this case, Chayav, for putting his hand out? In other words, there's a question on Abaye who said Chayav. So we answer Hatam lematla mishelosha, hacha lemata mishelosha. And then in that case, and the Mishnah there, it must have been that was below 3 tefachim from the ground, and therefore below 3 tefachim, it's as if you put it down. So if I'm crouching down and I stick my hand out, that enough is hotza'ah and hanacha, because it's so close to the ground. Where that case over here is where it's above the ground. Okay, so we solved that problem of the Mishnah, first Mishnah. We don't resolve the other problem here. Let me just explain what that problem was. Abaye, since now that after we switch the opinions around, Abaye says like Rabbi Yochanan, who says you follow the whole thing, the entirety. And that is contradicted by if I stick something out with my hand, because my hand is part of me. And so, therefore, he said you look at the whole, but I am still inside, and only part of me is outside. And so, therefore, he should not say chayav, he should say patur. Whereas Rava, after we switch this around, follows Hizkiyah, who says you look at each part by itself. If you look at each part by itself, then if I'm holding, an apple or something, and I put it outside, then since each part is significant by itself, I should be chayav. But he says patur. So you see that we have their original statements. We switched them because apparently they changed their minds, but it then contradicts. And I guess we understand that what they said here is post they're changing their mind. And so that's why we have a problem. So there's some confusion here about what they said and when they said it. But in any case, they are continuing to argue those same two opinions, and that is not resolved.
According to both opinions, shouldn't Bakli be Hayav based on these logics?
Well, Keli.
Because no matter what, the kli is a full unit and it's outside.
The kli is a full unit and it's outside, right?
And it's carrying the fruit, so.
Right, but it's not put down and it's still right. It's not clear to me what the case of the kli is. Is that I'm holding it in the kli, so it's my hand and I'm holding it in the kli, or I just took the whole kli outside, or if the kli is half in and half out. That's a good question. I'm not sure what what case the kli is talking about, but the question is from the hand. We'll have to check that out. Okay, next Mishnah Hamosi ben bimino ben bismolo betocheko ol al kitefav hayav. If you carry in a normal way, and a normal way is defined as with the right hand, with the left hand, under your shoulder. Under your in your lap, you kind of carry it in front of you, or on your shoulder. All those chayav, those are normal ways of carrying. Sheken masab benekehat. Benekehat would carry that way. Which way? This is referring only to the last thing, on their shoulder. They would carry the poles on their shoulder. They might have carried the other ways also, but the first ones are obvious ways. That's how you carry something. But the shoulder one is specifically but b'nei kehated. It's good as Parashat HaShavua too. It's nice when Daf Yomi coincides with Parasha, right? Kilachal yado, if you carry it with the back of your hand, which doesn't literally mean back of your hand, this becomes a halachic category of doing anything with a shinui in a different way than usual. If you carry it with your leg, if you carry it in your mouth, if you carry it b'marpeko, under your armpit, if you carry it be'ozno, you put it in your ear, b'sa'aro, you stick it into your hair, be'fundato, be'fiha lemata, in your money bag, that's a belt money bag, but you turn it upside down, and it's going to just, you tie it on, it's hanging out of your belt bag. Ben pundato chalukato, you carry it between your money belt and your clothing. You just kind of stick it in behind your belt. Bisfat haluko, in the hem of your robe, bimin alo, bisandalo, in your shoe or in your sandal. Sometimes runners, put money or something in their shoes. Patur, all these are abnormal ways of carrying, and therefore this is patur. Shelo tzike derech hamosiin. Okay, fine. So you have a good principle and several good examples. Amar Rabbi Elazar hamosi masoy lemala masa tefachim hayav sheken masa b'nei kehat. Okay, now we're talking about just in terms of heights. Even if you carry something above 10 tefachim, as high as you want still would be chayav. In other words, the airspace is still considered part of Reshut Harabim. This is a little different than a Mishnah that's coming up soon, where the Mishnah says if you throw something that's sticky, like amradin, right? You throw it onto a wall. If it lands above 10 tefachim, then it's like it didn't land. It's still in the air, right? If it's less than tefachim, then it's like it fell onto the ground. So that halacha is different because there it's ending up on a wall. But here I'm talking about I'm just carrying it high. I'm lifting my hand up and carrying it, but I'm carrying it the whole time, and so therefore it's still connected to my body, and so that is considered carrying. That's his teaching. And how does he know that? Well, Bnei Kehat used to carry things above 10 tefachim. In other words, above about 2.5 or 3 feet. They used to carry things. Okay, now we're going to go on a slightly extended proof that Kehat, in fact, carried things high. How do we know that they carried things high? Dichtib ala mishkan ala mizbeach sabib. Okay, Pasuk says that all the items that they carried, among them was the Mishkan and the Mizbeach. Makish Mizbeach la Mishkan. And so there's a similarity between the two. Ma Mishkan Esed Amot, Af Mizbeach Esed Amot. Now, this is not about carrying. This is just about how tall these items were. The Mishkan was 10 Amot high, like 15 feet high. And the Mizbeach, we learned, also was 10 Amot high. This is not the Pshat. The Pshat is it's much shorter. But the rabbis make a derasha that the Mizbeach was very high and you need that big ramp to get up there. All right, now let's figure out how to do that. What we're getting at is that they would be carrying the Mizbeach on poles. And so since the Mizbeach is very tall, well, we'll see. Mishkan Gufeh Minelan. And how do we know that the Mishkan itself is so tall, it's 10 amot high? Tichtib Esed Amot Orech HaKadesh, because the beams that may make them up are 10 amot. Good, that's Pashat. But Uchtib, and someone had to put the coverings on top. Notice they build a structure, and then they had to stretch out the curtains that go around and the cover and the roof. So how'd they do that? Moshe Rabbeinu pedaso mikanat halamed govhan shel Leviim 10 amot. And the Rabbi Rav taught that Moshe Rabbeinu, that first time, he inaugurated, and he's the one that put the covering on top of the Mishkan. Well, how did he do that? If it was 10 amot high, how did he reach so tall? He didn't have a ladder. So therefore we learned that Moshe Rabbeinu was 10 amot high. Did you know that? Moshe was 15 feet tall. Okay, not only that, but there's more. Ugemidi dekol tuna demidli bemotot. Tilta, right. Milael utre tilte milatahat ishtakach dava midale tuba. Wait, first of all, not only Mikata lamed gobhan shel Leviim, not only Moshe Rabbeinu, but all the Leviim were the same. Moshe is a Levi, and so all the Leviim were 15 feet tall, and they would be doing this. And now they're carrying. They have these 15 feet tall people carrying the Mizbeach. Okay, how big is the Mizbeach? We said 10 amot high. Mizbeach is the same height as them, but they're carrying it up on their shoulders. And we learned that any burden that they carried was 1/3. I'll show you a picture here. Right, 1/3 of it was above the pole, and 2/3 below the pole. This is the Aron, but imagine the Mizbeach would be huge, and they'd be carrying this. And so if it's 10 amot all together, so that means there's 3.5 amot above and 6.5, 6 and 2/3 amot below. So that still leaves from the bottom of the Mizbeach to the ground is 3.3 amot. So you see they're carrying something way even more than 10 tefachim high. That's 20 tefachim high. And still that's considered carrying. And so that's how we learn that carrying something more than 10 amot is considered carrying. All right, that's one proof. There's actually a much simpler proof. Right, we finished this? Right, yeah, we did. Okay, or we can learn from the Aron itself, not from the Mizbeach where we had to make a lot of connections to do that. Aron, Damar Mor, Aron Tisha Kaporet Tefach. That's Peshat. The Aron itself is 9 tefachim, plus you add the covering is 1 tefach. So this whole thing is 10 tefachim high, about 2.5 or 3 feet. And so we get right. And again, the same idea. When they carried these with the poles, they put the poles on the bottom. That would be top heavy, not a good idea. So they put them in a third, the way, 2/3 the way up. So you have a third above and 2/3 below, and the Leviim are still 15 feet high. And so since they're 15 feet high and they're carrying us on their shoulders, and there's only 6 2/3 amot below, there's plenty of space from the bottom down to from the bottom of the aron to the floor. And so we can learn the same thing. Okay. So, right, so there's lots of it. Now, so there's two ways to learn, either from the Mizbeach or the aron. The Gemara asks, Moshe, why don't we learn from the one, the Mizbeach? Why do you have to bring the second one, this one from the aron? We'll just use the first one. Dilma Moshe Shaneh Damar Mor En Shechina Shora El Al Chacham Gibor VeAshir Ubaal Koma. No, maybe Moshe is different. Maybe Moshe was taller than all the Leviim because he's a Navi, and Navi has to be, in addition to being smart and strong and rich, he has to be tall. So maybe only Moshe was tall, but the other Leviim were not. And so this proof would work even if the Leviim were normal size. If a regular sized person is carrying something that's 3 feet high and 2 feet are below the poles, so still from a person's shoulder 2 feet down, there's still more than 10 tefachim below that. And so all that would be fine. Okay, so that's the proof that the Levium carried in that way, and so carrying above 10 tefachim is still considered carrying. Amar Rav Mishum Rabbi Chiya, Hamosi Maser b'Shabbat al Rosho Hayav Hatat Sheken Anshe Hosal Osim Ken. If you carry something on your head, Chayav, that is a normal way of carrying. We didn't mention it in the Mishnah, but he's adding that's another normal way of carrying, because the people in Husal, that was a city in Bavel, they would always carry things that way on their heads. Hold on, Vanshe Husal, Rubad Alma, are they the majority of the world that they should set this as a precedent? That's a normal way of carrying. They're just a small group. Okay, if Rabbi Chiya said this, he must have said it in this formulation. Marav Mishum Rabbi Chiya. Echad מבני הוסל שעושים עשוי על ראשו בשבת חייב, שכן בני עירו עושים כן. If someone in Husal carries on their head, they're chayav because that's the normal way for them. But someone outside the city who carries on their head, it's not the normal way for them, so that person would be patur. So only people in Husal are chayav, carrying on their head. Hold on. Why should we consider that the people in Husal, if they're the minority, they should be nullified, and we should follow the majority of everyone? This is follow an objective standard, not a subjective one. Oh, you're right. So we say, if we actually said this, we have to formulate this way. He said patur altogether. Now, from here to here is a major change, right? From going from he said that chayav to saying, oh, you're right, it's just patur. But according to the logic, we can't understand it. But there's one more version, which is actually the same as the third one just now. Imtim selomad anshe osalosin ken batla da'atan etzel kol adam. It's just more expanded. Instead of just saying patur, we say that we know that they carry this way. At least it's making a reference to them, but still patur because it's an unusual way of carrying. All right, very good. Now we get to the next Mishnah. Mitkaven lo si lefanav uba lo le'acharav patur. Okay, it's interesting halacha that I intend to carry something in front of me. I put it, have a backpack, or I'm thinking of one of those backpacks has only one strap, so you put it in front of you. But then as you're walking, it turns around and goes to the back. Patur, right? However, the opposite, le'acharav, I put it on my back, and as I'm walking, it swings around to the front. Ubalo lefanav hayav. Okay, I mean, what's the difference? I'm carrying it either way, no matter what. Okay, this has to be the subject of a Gemara. They're still carrying. So what's the difference? Okay, that's the basic halacha. However, we say be'emet amidu. Be'emet amidu usually introduces something that is the basic or older or traditional halacha. This is the more evolved one. So the second one, the basic halacha is haisha hachogedet besinar. If a woman is wearing a underskirt or slip, and it's a kind that could spin around and there's no front or back, ben melefaneha or ben melachareha hayevet sheken ra'ui liyot hozer, and she's carrying something in that, then maybe like an apron or something, and she's carrying something, and this has no front or back, and it goes around, whether it was in front or in back, it is considered carrying chayevet because it's meant to flip around. Another item that's meant to flip around, also runners who receive a note. I thought there was a picture. No. If you think of if a king writes a note, he puts it in a canister, and the runner puts it around his neck, and it flips around his neck as he's running. So that also is made to be sometimes in front, and it's going to flip around to the back, and so therefore hayav. So that's the basic principle. If it's made to flip around, you expect it to chayav no matter what. But if it's something that I have in mind, I have intention to have it in front of me, and then it ends up being in back of me, in that case patur. So why should that be? So he's saying the reason why should it be that if it's in front and it goes to the back, I'm patur, because my intention was not fulfilled. Okay, fine. Let's see if that works. Then if I put it in back and it turned around to the front, also my intention was not fulfilled. So what's the difference if it's front to back or back to front? So that can't be it. Amar Rabbi Elazar tabra. Tabra means it's difficult, or you have to break it. It's disjointed. We have to break the Mishnah into two authors. Mi sheshana zo lo shana zo. It must be two different authors. The first clause disagrees with the second clause. Okay, that's a difficult way of reading the Mishnah because it looks like it's saying two cases and as a contrast between them. But that's how difficult this question was. Amarava, my kushya, hold on, it's not so difficult. You can easily resolve it. Maybe dilma lefanav ubalo lacharav haynu ta'amad patur nitkaven l'shemira me'ola ve'alata biyado shemira pechuta. The reason is if it's in the front and then goes to the back. The reason I'm patur is because I intended for a high level of watching it. I'm going to keep it right in front of me, and when it goes to the back, that's a low level of watching it. It's kind of like if I hire an armored truck to take my money somewhere, and then the guy just comes in a rickety van. So and he does it. So he says, "Oh, I moved the money." I said, "No, it's not good. This is not what I hired, right? Even if it got there, I wanted the high level. So this is not. It's not the same carrying. It's a different category of carrying." And so therefore, it's not considered the same thing at all. I intended a higher level. The lower level is therefore not what I intended and not carrying. But the other way around, if I hire a mover, I expect he's just going to bring a regular truck, and he brings an armored truck. Oh, fine, it's even better, right? It's even a higher level. Certainly is even more, and is carrying. Okay, so now we have a good logic to explain the Mishnah. So, Ela my kushya. So what was so difficult to be Eliezer had a difficulty. He could have figured this out. Elazar, he could have figured this out. Ela my kushya. So what was his difficulty? It must be something else. If you look carefully and make a diuk in the Mishnah, you'll have a question. Hamitkaven lo si lefanav uba lo la'acharav patur. Someone who intended to have it in front of him and end up behind him is patur. So all the more so, halacharav uba lo la'acharav chayav. Not forget all the more so. So therefore, only in that case where I intended to have it in front of me and went behind me, that's patur because it went down. But if it was behind me, I intended it to be behind me and it stayed behind me, chayav. Okay, I think that's true. We would agree with that diuk. Well, what about the sefa? La'acharav ubado lefanav hu de chayav. When it was behind me and it went in front of me, the Mishnah says that's the case of chayav. So perhaps I can infer that halacharav ubado la'acharav. If I put it behind me and it stayed behind me, it should be patur because the Mishnah only said if it was behind me and it went in front, it's chayav. So I can infer that if it was behind me and stayed behind me, patur. And so now we have a contradiction of the case when it's behind me and stayed behind me. From the resha, I infer chayav. From the sefa, I infer patur. Okay, the second one, So that's why Rabbi Elazar said, Tabra, Misha Shanazo, Lo Shanazo. That's why it must be a contradiction and two different authors. Now, the second inference really was not such a good inference, and that's what Rabbi Asher is going to say. Amar Rabbi Asher, Mai Kushya, Dilma Lami Baya Ka'amar. It's saying not only this, Lami Baya La Harav Ubala La Harav Dechayav, Dit Abida Machshavato. Not only is it true that if I put it behind me and it stayed behind me, chayav, because my intention was fulfilled. But even if it was behind me and my intention was not fulfilled and it went in front of me, also chayav. Why do I have to say that in the sefer? I might have thought, since my intention is different now, and maybe you'll say, I didn't want an armored truck. I wanted only a regular truck. So you might say it's not the same thing. And so therefore it's different. It would be patur. No, that's why the sefer has to come teach us. That was behind me. And it goes in front. It's even more. It's a step up. But don't infer from that statement in the sefer that it has to go in front of me in order to be chayav. Okay, and Rabbi Asher is right. That's the normal way of reading it. But we went through this because we're trying to figure out why did Rabbi Elazar have such trouble. So we're trying to find the question, a contradiction within the Mishnah. Okay, now this case, lacharav ubalo lacharav, this is holder. It's not so simple. This case, I put it behind me and it stayed behind me. Actually, looks like it's a machloket tanaim. So maybe there was a good reason to bring it up this way. We're going to reject this. Don't worry about it. Tanaihi detanya. Hamosi ma'ot bepundato upiha lemata hayav. Piha lematla hayav. Piha lemata Rabbi Yehuda mechayev chachamim poterin. I'm carrying a money bag around on my belt, and if the money bag, the zipper is going up, the normal way of carrying it, chayav, everybody would agree with that. That's the normal way of carrying. But if I flip it over and I just hang something hanging out of the money bag, that's a pretty strange way of using it. Rabbi Yehuda says hayav anyway, because it's still, I don't know, some people might do that. Chachamim say patur, it's a strange way. Now they're going to have a machloket, then they're going to compare this case with these other cases that we do know the halacha. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, right? Rabbi Yehuda who said chayav, tell the chachamim, yatem modim belacharav uba lo lacharav shu chayav. Wouldn't you agree when I put it behind me, which is a lower level of watching, and it stays behind me, and it's chayav, isn't it? So too here, I put my money bag upside down. It's a lower level of watching it because it might fall out, but that's my intention, and I do my intention. So too should be chayav. See, it's the same case. They told him, the rabbis told Rabbi Yehuda, the rabbis say patur. Wouldn't you agree that if I carry something with my foot, with my leg, that's patur, because that's an abnormal way of carrying it. Don't you agree that that's patur? And so too here, putting the money belt upside down is shinui, is kilachar yad, is an abnormal way. Okay, that was their machloket. Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Right, and so the assumption is that each one is rejecting what the other one said, right? So that when the Rabbi Yehuda says, don't you agree that when it put it behind me and it stays behind me, chayav? And the rabbi saying, no, we don't agree. We say that intending to put it behind you and staying behind you is patur. And so that's there you see that it's a machloket tanaim. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, ani amarti davar echad vehen amiru davar echad. Rabbi Yehuda, the same Rabbi Yehuda says, I said something, they said something. Ani lo maseti teshuvah lidvahem vehen lo masu teshuvah lidvari. I couldn't refute what they said, and they could not refute what I said. This is very interesting. That's the way they're formulating their controversy. A lot of times, I don't know, recent days, we've been all discussing and arguing and a lot of controversy about current events and things. And so everybody brings a proof. Okay, but fine, everybody brings a proof, but the proofs are opposite, but nobody knows how to disprove what the other person said. So they're kind of stuck. Now, since he said that, since Rabbi Yehuda said that, we're going to comment. Lav mikelal de patrera banan. And when they say you don't agree, so the rabbis here are saying, I brought the proof from it being behind and it stays behind. That's chayav. and you, the rabbis, did not give an answer. So if you say you didn't give an answer, right, you did not agree to it, right, doesn't mean that they say they disagree with the halacha. Then they say patur. Okay, is that how you're really reading it? So is that true also for the Yehuda when the rabbis tell him that kilachad patur and the Yehuda disagrees with the proof? Does that mean he disagrees with the halacha and he says chayav? No, it can't be. There's a braita that says patur. So you know what? No, yeah, I know they're having this argument and they each bring proofs, but they're not rejecting the halacha in the proofs. Rather, they're just making different comparisons. Actually, everyone agrees, like the Mishnah says, simply that if it's behind, a package is behind me and it stays behind me, certainly chayav. And everybody agrees, everybody agrees if I carry it with the back of my hand or the back of my foot with a shinoi, patur. Ki pilige bepundato pialemata mor medamele la'acharav ubalo la'acharav, or mor medamele la'acharav la'achar yado v'raglo. The only controversy is, which case is this like? The one where the money belt is upside down, is it more similar to putting something in the back, which is shemira pechuta? And so this also is not watching it very well, and so it should be the same, but that's my intention. So therefore, should be chayav, or is this just a strange way of carrying things, and therefore it should be patur as well? And that's where we leave the machloket. Okay, so in fact, we reject all that. In fact, there is no reason to say that the Mishnah is very difficult. In fact, everyone agrees behind me, it stays behind me, would be chayav. Okay, and so we accept the Rava's explanation. All right, last bit. Be'emet amiru ha'isha, right? We said the woman who's wearing this underskirt that turns around. Tana kol be'emet halacha hi. Rabbi Yehuda omer af mekabele pitakin. So anytime it says be'emet in the Mishnah, we follow that to be the halacha. Okay, and Rabbi Yehuda adds, also, the people who are carrying this, this note, this letter that flips around, Tana sheken lare malchut osin ken. Right. So it's just explaining what we said. The royal scribes put the notes on all sides, and it turns around and around, and they don't mind, and it's okay. Okay, I think we'll stop here, and we'll pick up the new Mishnah together tomorrow night. Baruch Adonai Olam, Amen ve'amen.
So, I don't know if you